I got guys, when I tell you what kind of guest I got here, you guys are going to be knocked out because this is something you don't hear every day. This is something I find so interesting. I hope you do too. Marilynn Hughes is a out-of-body travel author. She is the founder of the Out-of-Body Travel Foundation. And for anyone who wants to get some information about Marilynn, go over to outofbodytravel.org, and you can find out some information on this really interesting woman. All right, guys, let me go get her. With no further ado, guys, it's my honor and my privilege to bring to WMAP Miss Marilynn Hughes. Marilynn, what's going on? You there?
I am here.
All right. Great. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, people who hear out-of-body experience, automatically they have their own preconceived notion about what it is. But to an expert, what is an out-of-body experience?
Well, an out-of-body experience is when you actually, your soul separates from your physical body and you enter into overlapping realms, parallel realities, and travel amongst the infinite spheres of existence. And, a lot of people would probably think that out-of-body travel would be limited to things that we see in this world, but what we find as out-of-body travelers is that there truly is an infinite number of realms, and there is so much to discover and learn and find out about in the mystical spheres.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I find real interesting. Does this happen sometimes in a dream?
Some people will have partial memory, not fully conscious in a dream, so they might have a partial memory. When you have a full out-of-body experience, it's going to be very, very conscious to the point where it's mind-blowing. It's not going to be questionable as to whether or not you had an out-of-body experience. You'll know for sure when you've had the fully conscious one.
Mm-hmm. And how do you know that? I mean, why would it, I mean, do you see yourself or something like that, or is that just a very primitive way to look at it?
Well, you do. I mean, especially in the beginning, you certainly do. I mean, you go into various stages in the out-of-body experience where you enter into the vibrational state, which is where your physical body is, you're moving your conscious awareness from your physical body over to your spiritual body, which is a higher vibration. So you're going to start experiencing a very high vibration.
Uh-oh. Is there someone over there using the phone?
I think it's my modem. I'm not going to have to make a call.
It's okay. It's all right. These things happen. No problem. I was just asking because I'm sure the listeners were confused about that. But
yeah.
So now when it first happens to you, you probably are gonna see yourself, and it's gonna. Is it alarming at first, or is it scary? What was it like for you?
Some people find it scary at first. I know my first experience, I was afraid because I think one of the reasons people are afraid is they think they're dying. So you see your body down below. It's like a gray lump of, flesh. And so they think they're dying. But what you find is that as you continue to cultivate the experiences, that you are going to go on better, more and more journeys, and you're not really going to be paying that much attention to your physical body beyond the, the first and second, adventure. You're really focusing on the spiritual worlds because the beauty that is out there and the things that there are to see, the things there are to learn are just so vast that you're not going to want to stay in, third realm travel. You're going to want to go to all these cool places. You can travel to the heavens, hells, and purgatories. There are realms where the initiations into the mysteries go on, and there are realms where the rites of passage go on. And so these things go into like a lot of the mystery teachings, and you are taught by many highly evolved spiritual beings and taken through a lot of different sequences of events and learning experiences to take you into a higher understanding of your spiritual nature. Another thing that happens is you enter into something that I often call God consciousness, where, and this is real similar to what people having near-death experiences will report as
wow.
well.
Okay.
And I've had a couple of those as well. But what happens is you will understand things that you can't understand here or did not understand here, and all of a sudden it will just be very clear to you while you're in the out-of-body state.
Wow. And is this true? Did I research this the right way? Did you write 98 books?
Yeah, I have somewhere over 90 books and about 40 magazines, and we have 15 CDs. And, another neat thing is that we have it all available for free download at outofbodytravel.org. We also have an extensive course of study for those who want to start traveling. And, of course, I do spiritual counseling if people are interested in that as well. But, we have a lot of resources that people can access right away if they're interested in learning more about this. So, yeah, there's a ton of books that I've written. I've been doing this for well over 30 years now. And the adventure continues to expand, and that's what you're going to find if you're looking into what this is about. It's not a static event. It's something that grows and expands into things you can't even imagine.
Wow, it sounds interesting. Now, is there anything that the Bible does the Bible talk about this at all?
Well, St. Paul said, when he was speaking of someone else having an experience like this, he said, whether in the body or out of the body, I don't know. And, even when you're looking at, Ezekiel and a lot of these books in the Old Testament and of the prophets, out-of-body experiences really are not as out of the norm as I think a lot of people might think. Ironically, one of the books I wrote was called Near-Death and Out-of-Body Experiences of the Prophets, Saints, Mystics, and Sages, and it's about the birth point of every religion, because almost every world religion was founded on mystical experiences or one great out-of-body travel revelation. And people don't realize that there was this, defining moment in the lives of these prophets that is the foundation of many of the religions and faiths that people practice. And that is another really fascinating journey. Even with that, there are ancient sacred texts, literally thousands of them, documenting out-of-body experiences of, prophets, saints, mystics, and sages from every age, every religion, every corner of the world. I started gathering them years ago, and what you'll find is that this is, a common element in human experience, no matter what corner of the world you're living in. It's been happening, and it is a really fascinating journey in the sense that what you're doing as you progress on this path is literally finding your purpose here. People want to know, why are we here? What are we supposed to do with this short amount of time that we have? And this is how we find out. There is a purification journey that we go through because we live in what are known as the mortal realms, which are third and fourth dimension, which is where the battles between good and evil go on, and that happens within each one of us and also all around us. And the purpose that we have to serve here is to try to purify that darkness within ourselves and attain to more light while we are sojourning in this physical body. And through the out-of-body experiences, you are able to accelerate that path by quite a massive degree, because you're literally opening the veil and allowing yourself to be taught directly.
Wow. How old were you when it happened to you first?
The first time I had it, I was 9 years old. I had a beautiful experience where I was shown that it was going to come back to me later in my life, and I had something I had to do, and it returned to me when I was about 22, and it's been going on ever since, and I'm about 54 now, so I've been traveling a long time.
That's incredible. And so who does this usually happen to?
Oh, it happens to a lot of different kinds of people. Sometimes it happens to the least expected. But, you know, in terms of like what you might expect, it happens to people who are seeking to know God, people who are seeking spiritual understanding. But it also happens, you know, randomly to people who truly are not expecting it to come. You know, I work with a lot of people personally, and we take them through the processes, and you know, they traveling pretty quick because it's not as complicated. I mean, there's a certain type of focus that you need to have that really focuses your spirit in and puts your journey right on. You know, it's like getting a target in place,
wow.
And then you're going to start having these experiences.
Marilynn, hold on one second. I think I got. Hold on one second. Marilynn, I got a phone call for you. Hold on one second.
Sure.
Caller, are you on the line? Someone's calling in for you.
Okay.
No, I lost. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. It's
no worries.
I didn't even call. I didn't even call for phone calls, but people are calling in because they want to hear about it. All right, guys, we're not taking phone calls this time, but if Marilynn comes back, we will do. I promise you, we'll take phone calls. You can ask questions, but not right now because we're just. It's funny. I didn't even give out the number, but people know it. So cool. But yeah, I got a good friend who this happens to. See, they keep calling. Oh, this is horrible. But you know, this is something I believe happens, and you know, it's cool to talk to someone. Tell me about where people can get your books. I know if they go to outofbodytravel.org, they can get them.
Yes.
But what's the latest book, and what's the first book to start with?
The one I'd recommend you start with is The Mysteries of the Redemption and Come to Wisdom's Door. And the latest book is called The Christ of the Redemption, which is has a lot to do with spiritual warfare, which is a subject we'll cover another time. And you can go to outofbodytravel.org, but you can find all of my books and CDs on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. They're available on Audible, Kindle, all, you know, electronic devices, iTunes, Apple, and all that stuff. So, in the iBook store, can't forget that. So anywhere you can look online, you should be able to find them. If you just look up under Marilynn Hughes, you're going to find a whole slew of books. But start with The Mysteries of the Redemption.
Got it.
That's where you want to start.
Okay, guys, and go to outofbodytravel.org. And Marilynn Hughes, you're definitely one of the world's most amazing people. You're so interesting, and I can't wait if you come back to tell us more about this. I know we just scratched the surface. And yes, next time, audience, we will take phone calls. Not now, though, because we're just. It's funny when you can tell, like when I don't even ask for phone calls and they come in. You can tell that people are chomping at the bit to talk to you, so that's pretty cool. But I bet you get a lot of questions. I bet you get that a lot. People want to ask you questions about it, right?
Yeah, they do, and you know, it's great because it just shows that the curiosity of the human spirit is in each one of us. You know. Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, well, guys, that's Marilynn Hughes right there, and I hope you come back and speak with us right here on WMAP, the world's most amazing people.